accountancy firms is being accused of developing facial recognition tools to monitor staff working from home during the lockdown. PricewaterhouseCoopers apparently will use the tech to keep tabs on absence from desks, including how many meal and bathroom breaks employees have been taking. And that's got privacy and HR groups warning over excess intrusion.
As approximately a quarter of the world's population was working from home at the peak of the pandemic period, constant monitoring has left many incredibly stressed, seen years of work devalued, unappreciated and dehumanized. If city firms have problems with the work an employee is doing, they should take it up with their employees sensitively using the appropriate HR processes, rather than surveilling their employees en masse.
This simply screams, we don't trust you. If an employee believes they aren't trusted, then a business will never get the best out of them.
Well, with the home office now being very much in vogue, PwC is in talks with investment banks to provide the face recognition technology, which it says is designed to help firms meet legal compliance obligations, just as they would have to for staff working on company trading floors.
Trading is highly regulated, and there are strict requirements for traders in the workplace. For example, secure trading floors without access to personal mobile phones. Regulators have stated that remote working results in a change in risk and requires additional controls and mitigations.
Yeah, so plenty to discuss with this story. Let's do just that with Yair Cohen, internet law expert and social media solicitor, and also Anthony Webber. Anthony's a political commentator. Good to have you both. Anthony, can we kick off with you? Safeguards or otherwise, isn't this a serious violation of privacy when your employer can see essentially every step staff make? Anthony, you can hear me?
Oh, sorry, yes,
yeah,
I thought
ahead.
you were asking the other person. Yes, I think we have to remember that it's always been an employer's right to see how their employees are spending the working day because they're obviously paying for them. And this goes back many years, even when we only had the telephone and we didn't have all the technology we've got now. But I think we're now in new ground because we've got a situation because of the coronavirus. In the UK, we've had up to 60% of the working population working from home or had experience of that. I suspect that's gone down to about 50% now. But it certainly was a lot less before this crisis happened. And there will be a number of firms who will be wanting to continue with that. And I think, yes, there are reasons to check on how people are working, but I do think there needs to be a lot of discussion on it. And what PricewaterhouseCoopers are proposing is perhaps going a little bit too far, but employers do have rights. That's what we do.
Yair, we're in uncharted territory, as Anthony has been saying, because of COVID-19. Companies are closing down under immense pressure. Is it not valid to ask, therefore, how can employers be sure that workers are doing what they are paid to do at home? And in terms of financial trading, not in fact breaking the law?
Let's be honest about this. The reality is that the working from home business has now become a cost-cutting exercise, particularly for the larger companies. Now, they are saving a great deal of money in paying rent, they are emptying their offices, they're saving on travel and all sorts of things, right? And somebody's going to have to pay for those savings. So what they are saying to their employees is you are going to pay for those savings, and how are you going to be paying for the savings? You're going to be paying for a savings by giving away some of your space. So we're going to start owning the space in your spare bedroom. We're going to start owning the space in your cabin, and we're going to tell you that we are doing this in order not to save costs for ourselves, but in order to comply with whatever regulations you need to comply with. You know what? if this is the concern, compliance with regulations, instead of reducing the office space, why not increase the office space? Instead of having 2 by 2 per employee, increase the office space, give people more space in the office so their work can be safer.
Anthony, is there not a risk that this, in fact, could work out exactly the opposite to what employers are hoping? Because often people feel stressed, depressed, being tracked. It could affect their productivity in the long run.
Well, I think this is very true. If you're home, working from home, there are issues such as loneliness and not feeling part of the team. And there are arguments to get more people back into the office. And this will require more expenditure by the firms concerned. But I think the main issue is where there are people involved in things like potential insider trading. And perhaps there is an argument that those employees shouldn't be working from home. They should be working from the office. I think there are lots of categories of people working from home where there are not perhaps security issues, but it still should be down to the companies' HR departments to ensure there are less intrusive ways of checking on how people are working, because the studies so far have shown that with most employees working from home, the productivity goes up. And of course, there's less time spent commuting. They get more family time, so they're more appreciative of their employers.
What about the trust? I mean, what I'm getting from this is that those financial institutions simply do not trust their employees, right? Those employees handling money, they're handling my money, they're handling your money. How are we meant to trust those people if their own bosses do not trust them? That's beyond me.
Well, I don't think that's the case with all employers. I think this does require a lot of engagement with the employers' organisations, people like the Institute of Directors and so on. But I think you'll find that employers who trust their employees get a lot more out of them. But clearly there's a big debate on this one about the fact that they're being intrusive because they don't trust their employees. And there is a dividing line on this between trust and security, because clearly, going back to insider trading,
we're not talking about national security here, of course. We're talking about this potentially dishonest behavior by people who work in the financial industry. Now, let's be frank about this. The reason why those banks and investment banks want to invade the employees' bedroom space is because they do not trust them. They think they're going to be doing criminal acts, insider trading, for example. This is the very reason they are giving. Now, you don't trust them, that's fine. Why should we? And also, I would say, why do you feel you cannot trust them? What sort of values are you giving those employees? What are the values of your companies, of your organizations? Is there any sort of, are these people just working for money, or are they actually working for something a little bit bigger than that? I think those financial institutions need to perhaps change their business consultants and take on someone who actually understands the real world and understand the real people that they are meant to serve.
Anthony, just address that point. We have about 10 seconds left. Anthony, go ahead. Your last 10 seconds to you.
Yes, I think you've made a very valid point there. And, of course, PricewaterhouseCoopers have put this package together, and there is an interest from some key financial firms. But already a number of organisations say that their staff would not be happy with it. But the message that if companies don't trust their own staff, then why should people dealing with that company trust the company?
Okay.
It is a very valid one, and it's a matter of concern. And if those companies feel that strongly, they should have such key employees working actually in the office and not at home, because they clearly don't trust them to work at home.
All right, the thoughts of Anthony Webber, political commentator there, and also Yair Cohen, internet law expert and social media solicitor. I imagine this is a conversation we're going to be having quite a few times in the future. Thank you both very much.
You're welcome.